First contact with human songs. High Commander Vexthor stood motionless before the grand observation window of the Sentinel-class reconnaissance vessel, their crystalline eyes fixed on the holographic display showing footage from Earth. The ship had been monitoring human military activities for 3 standard cycles, gathering intelligence for the collective's eventual expansion into this sector. But what they witnessed defied all strategic logic. "Play it again," Vexthor commanded, their voice resonating with harmonic undertones characteristic of the crystalline species. The footage flickered to life once more, human soldiers advancing across a battlefield, but instead of the expected tactical silence, waves of sound emerged from their ranks. Science officer Zinra approached, her crystalline form catching the starlight. "High Commander, we've analyzed the acoustic patterns for the 18th time. They are not tactical communications, not encrypted messages, and not weapons. They are what humans call songs." Vexthor's crystalline structure vibrated with confusion. Songs. In battle. The footage showed humans charging forward, their voices united in what their databases identified as Scotland the Brave. Despite heavy resistance, their advance continued unbroken, their voices growing stronger with each casualty rather than faltering. It defies conventional military doctrine, strategic analyst Kyrtl noted, joining them at the window. By all tactical assessments, singing should decrease combat effectiveness. It wastes energy, reveals position, and disrupts command communications. Yet, they gestured to another holographic display showing combat effectiveness metrics. Their performance improves when singing. Significantly. Vexthor moved closer to the tactical display, their crystalline form refracting light across the bridge. The data was undeniable. Human units engaging in battle songs showed marked increases in unit cohesion, morale, and combat effectiveness. Even more puzzling, the effect seemed to strengthen in direct proportion to the adversity they faced. "Show me historical records," Vexthor commanded. The displays shifted, showing centuries of human warfare. Vikings charging with war chants, Roman legions advancing to drum beats, Scottish Highlanders with their bagpipes, down to modern soldiers with their unit cadences. "It's not just psychological warfare," Zinre observed. "They sing for themselves, not just to intimidate enemies. Each culture, each unit, each era has its own songs, but the pattern remains constant. The humans use music to synchronize themselves." Vexthor's crystalline form pulsed with deep thought. "The collective has conquered 18 species across 12 galaxies. We've encountered warriors, strategists, and survivors. But never," they paused, watching as another human unit on the display broke into song while repair teams fixed their damaged equipment. "Never have we encountered a species that turns battle itself into art." "High Commander," Kyrtl interjected, "the collective's invasion plans assume standard military responses. These humans, they don't follow standard responses. They don't even follow their own tactical doctrines when these songs take hold." "No," Vexthor agreed. "They follow something older, something we don't understand." They turned to face their officers, their crystalline form now glowing with decision. "We need more information. Prepare a deep infiltration team. I want specialists in human culture, anthropologists, musicologists. We must understand this phenomenon before we even consider military action." As the officers departed to carry out their orders, Vexthor remained at the window, watching Earth rotate slowly below. In the background, the human battle songs continued to play through the ship's analysis systems. For the first time in their long military career, the High Commander felt something unexpected. Doubt. The humans didn't just fight with songs. They lived with them, died with them, celebrated and mourned with them. The songs weren't a military tactic. They were something far more fundamental to human nature. And as Vexthor listened to the haunting melodies of Earth's battle songs, they couldn't shake the feeling that the collective might have finally encountered something beyond their ability to understand or control. "Computer," Vexthor commanded, "begin new tactical analysis." Question: What happens when you fight an enemy who treats battle as a song? The computer's response was immediate. Insufficient data for meaningful answer. Vexthor's crystalline form dimmed slightly. Yes, they murmured. That's what I was afraid of. The investigation begins. Cultural specialist Mirax found herself questioning everything she thought she knew about warfare as she reviewed the latest findings from their covered observation posts on Earth. Her research team had spent 3 months studying human musical traditions, and each discovery seemed to add another layer to the puzzle rather than solving it. Display archive file TC2187, she commanded. The holographic interface shimmered to life, showing footage from a human military training exercise. Young soldiers moved in formation, their feet striking the ground in perfect rhythm as they sang something called a cadence. But it wasn't the synchronized movement that caught her attention. It was the gleam in their eyes, the way their exhausted faces lit up with each verse. Her second-in-command, data analyst Renko, entered the research chamber carrying fresh data crystals. "You need to see this," he said, his bioluminescent patterns pulsing with excitement. "We found something in their historical records." The display shifted to show ancient battlefield scenes reconstructed from human historical documents. Vikings rowing their longships to the beat of war drums, Greek triremes moving to the rhythm of flutes, Roman legions marching to brass instruments, Native American warriors dancing before battle. "It's not just modern military formations," Renko explained. "Humans have been combining music and warfare since before they discovered metalworking. Look at these brainwave patterns we've managed to record." The display split, showing neural activity from human soldiers during both silent operations and those involving song. The difference was striking. During battle songs, their neural patterns showed increased synchronization, enhanced emotional processing, and heightened pain tolerance. They're not just singing, Mirax realized, her own bioluminescence flickering with revelation. They're connecting. The songs create a shared mental state, a collective consciousness of sorts. But how? Why? She pulled up another recording, this one from a human sporting event. Thousands of voices joined in something called an anthem, the sound swelling until it seemed to shake the very air. The neural patterns were similar, though less intense than the battle recordings. "They do this everywhere," Renko noted. "Sports, celebrations, protests, religious gatherings. Anytime humans need to act as one, they sing. But it's strongest in battle." Mirax's patterns shifted to a deep, thoughtful blue. "Send a priority message to High Commander Vexthor. The songs aren't just a military tactic, they're a fundamental aspect of human psychology. They use music to forge temporary hive minds, achieving unity without sacrificing individuality." She paused the playback on an image of human soldiers singing around a campfire. "Look at their expressions. They're not just communicating, they're communing. Each song carries memories, emotions, shared experiences. It's a form of cultural data transfer we've never encountered before." A junior researcher burst into the chamber, their patterns flashing urgent red. "Specialist Mirax, we've detected unusual activity at the human military bases. Multiple units are mobilizing." And they hesitated. "They're singing new songs. Songs we haven't heard before." Mirax felt her core temperature drop. "Show me." The displays filled with live feeds from around the globe. Human military units were indeed on the move, and with them came a new kind of song. Not the traditional battle hymns or marching cadences they documented, but something else. Something that made her scientific detachment waver. These songs spoke of stars, of vessels in the night sky, of visitors from above. Somehow, despite their careful concealment, the humans knew they were being watched. And rather than respond with fear or hostility, they were singing about it. "Get me a direct line to High Command," Mirax ordered. "The humans aren't just using songs to fight. They're using them to send us a message. And I think," she watched as more and more humans joined the growing chorus below, "I think they're inviting us to answer." As she prepared her report, Mirahax couldn't help but wonder. Had they discovered humanity's greatest weakness, or had they stumbled upon its most powerful strength? The answer, she suspected, would determine not just the outcome of any future conflict, but the very nature of their species' first official contact. Battlefield Symphony. Fleet Admiral Kaxnor watched from the bridge of the Crystalline Collective's flagship as the first waves of their forces descended through Earth's atmosphere. Despite the extensive research on human battle songs, the Collective's high command had decided to proceed with the invasion. After all, how could mere music stand against their superior technology and tactical precision? The first signs that they had drastically miscalculated came from the Antarctic Defense Station. "Admiral," his communications officer called out, crystal fragments vibrating with confusion. "You need to hear this." Through the ship's sensors came a sound that made every crystalline being on the bridge resonate with unease. 1,000 human voices raised as one, singing something their databases identified as the Song of the Volga Boatman. The deep, powerful rhythm seemed to vibrate through space itself as the Antarctic garrison faced down an enemy force that outnumbered them 10 to 1. "Impossible," Kaxnor whispered as the battle unfolded. The human defenders moved as one, their actions synchronized not to tactical algorithms, but to the rhythm of their song. Where the Collective's forces expected retreat, the humans advanced. Where they expected surrender, they found resistance that bordered on the supernatural. More reports flooded in from around the globe. Each human military unit had its own song, yet somehow they all wove together into a terrible harmony. American soldiers charged forward singing Battle Hymn of the Republic. British troops held the line with Jerusalem. Russian defenders warred Kadisha as they counterattacked. Chinese forces moved to the rhythm of March of the Volunteers. "Admiral," his tactical officer reported, crystalline form pulsing with alarm, "we're losing cohesion in all forward units. The humans, they're not fighting according to any known doctrine. Each time we adapt to their patterns, they change the song, and their entire strategy shifts." Kaxnor watched in growing horror as the carefully planned invasion dissolved into chaos. Their forces, trained to fight with precise coordination, found themselves facing an enemy that turned chaos itself into a weapon. The songs seemed to grant the humans impossible endurance, allowing them to fight on even when their bodies should have failed. "Bring up the neural pattern analysis," he commanded. The display showed something unprecedented. The songs weren't just boosting morale. They were literally synchronizing human brainwaves across entire battlefields. Each different song created its own unique pattern of neural activity, allowing human forces to shift tactics as easily as changing tunes. A new sound cut through the cacophony of battle, a single bagpipe playing Amazing Grace. The Admiral watched in disbelief as a lone piper walked out into the no-man's land between human and alien forces. More pipes joined, then drums, then voices. The songs spread across battle lines, across continents, across languages. "Sir," his science officer reported, "we're detecting a massive spike in neural synchronization. It's not just the military forces anymore. Civilian populations are joining the song." Through the ship's sensors, Kaxnor could see it happening. Millions of humans, then billions, adding their voices to the chorus. Each person remained an individual, yet somehow their songs wove together into something greater than the sum of its parts. It wasn't the rigid unity of the collective, but something far more powerful, harmony born of diversity. "Admiral," his executive officer urged, "we need to make a decision. Our ground forces are falling back on all fronts. The songs, they're not just music anymore. They've become something else." Kaxnor studied the tactical displays, watching as more of his forces retreated from the singing humans. The collective had expected to face a primitive species armed with inferior technology. Instead, they had found themselves fighting an enemy that wielded art as a weapon and turned unity into a force of nature. "Send word to High Command," he finally ordered, his crystalline form dimming with the weight of the decision. The humans don't sing because they're warriors. They're warriors because they sing, and we're not prepared for what that means. As the order to retreat went out across the invasion force, the songs of Earth followed them into orbit. Not songs of victory or vengeance, but something more complex. Songs of defiance, yes, but also songs of hope, of possibility, of invitation. The humans were not just showing them how they fought. They were showing them who they were. And in that symphony of battle and brotherhood, Kaxnor began to understand what his researchers had tried to tell him. The humans' greatest weapon wasn't their technology, their tactics, or even their songs. It was their ability to find unity in diversity, strength in vulnerability, and beauty in the very chaos of existence. Understanding the melody. In the aftermath of the failed invasion, cultural specialist Mirax found herself in an unprecedented position, leading a diplomatic mission to Earth. The humans had responded to the collective's retreat not with pursuit or demands for surrender, but with an invitation for dialogue. More specifically, an invitation to listen. The meeting place was a vast concert hall in Vienna, its architecture a testament to humanity's long relationship with music. Mirax sat with her team, their crystalline forms refracting the soft light as they watched the humans file in. Military leaders sat alongside musicians, historians next to composers, scientists beside singers. "We've been studying your battle songs," Mirax began, her translator converting her harmonic tones into human speech. "But we realize now that we were asking the wrong questions. We kept wondering why you sing in battle, when we should have been asking why you sing at all." An elderly human conductor smiled, his eyes twinkling. "Perhaps we could show you rather than tell you." He gestured, and the hall dimmed. "This is how we remember." The performance began with a single violin, playing what they identified as adagio for strings. Images appeared on massive screens. Humans comforting each other after disasters, mourning fallen soldiers, rebuilding from ruins. The music swelled, more instruments joining, and the images shifted to show scenes of triumph, celebration, resistance against overwhelming odds. "Your songs," Mirax observed, her crystalline structure vibrating in resonance with the music. "They're not just about battle. They're about everything. Joy, sorrow, love, loss. You've woven your entire history into melody." A military general nodded. "Music is how we share what words cannot express. When we sing in battle, we're not just fighting for victory. We're fighting for every lullaby sung to a child, every love song shared between hearts, every anthem that reminds us who we are." The performance continued, moving through different styles and eras. Each piece seemed to unlock new understanding in the alien observers. They watched humans dance at weddings to the same songs they had once marched to war with, saw them sing hymns of peace with the same passion they brought to battle cries. "It's about connection," one of Mirax's researchers whispered, their patterns pulsing with revelation. The songs create neural bridges, allowing humans to share experiences across time and space. When they sing songs from their past, they're not just remembering, Mirax finished. They're reliving, sharing, becoming part of something larger than themselves. She turned to the general. "That's why our invasion failed. We thought we were fighting soldiers, but we were really fighting every song, every memory, every moment of human history all at once." The conductor raised his baton once more. "There's one more piece we'd like to share." The orchestra began playing something new, a composition that blended human music with tones that resonated perfectly with crystalline physiology. The aliens felt their very structures vibrate in harmony with the human instruments. "You composed this for us," Mirax realized, her form glowing with emotion. "Even after we attacked, you created something new, something that could bridge our differences. Music has always been our way of reaching across boundaries," a human composer explained. "Across cultures, across generations, and now across the stars. We don't sing in battle because we love war. We sing because it reminds us what we're fighting for. The chance to create more songs, more stories, more moments of harmony in a discordant universe. As the new composition filled the hall, Mirax understood at last. The humans' battle songs had never been about warfare at all. They were about hope, the hope that after every battle, after every sorrow, there would be new songs to sing, new harmonies to discover, new voices to join the eternal chorus of human experience. She activated her communicator, knowing her next words would change the course of both their species. High Command, I recommend we revise our entire approach. The humans don't need to be conquered or contained. They need to be heard. Their songs aren't a weapon we need to defend against. They're an invitation we need to accept. The music swelled to a crescendo, human and alien tones weaving together in perfect harmony. In that moment, Mirax glimpsed the future, not of conflict, but of collaboration, not of conquest, but of concert. The humans had shown them that true strength lay not in enforced unity, but in the beautiful complexity of harmony. A new harmony. 1 year after the failed invasion, High Commander Vexthor stood before the Crystalline Collective's Grand Council, preparing to present the most radical proposal in their species' history. The chamber's crystalline walls reflected the light from thousands of assembled forms, each waiting to hear how their greatest military defeat had led to their most profound transformation. Esteemed Council, Vexthor began, their form projecting confidence despite internal uncertainty. I stand before you not to speak of war, but of music, not of conquest, but of harmony. What we discovered on Earth cannot be measured in tactical data or strategic assessments. We found something far more valuable, a new way of understanding existence itself. The chamber's central holographic display activated, showing scenes from the past year of human crystalline interaction. Humans teaching crystalline children to sing. Crystalline composers working with human musicians to create new forms of music that could be both heard and felt through crystalline resonance. Joint ceremonies where both species shared their stories through song. We went to Earth believing ourselves superior, Vexthor continued. We saw their battle songs as primitive, their emotional attachments as weakness. We were wrong. What we interpreted as chaos was actually complexity. What we dismissed as disorder was actually diversity. The humans don't just sing in battle, they sing in life, and in doing so, they taught us what we had forgotten. The display shifted to show the newly established Earth Crystalline Cultural Exchange Centers. In these vast spaces, humans and crystalline beings learned to communicate not just through words or thoughts, but through shared resonance. The human songs had inspired the crystalline species to rediscover their own capacity for harmonic expression, awakening long-dormant frequencies in their crystalline structures. Our species once believed that perfect unity required perfect uniformity, Vexthor explained. The humans showed us a different way. In their music, different voices don't compete, they complement. Harmony isn't achieved by everyone singing the same note, but by finding how different notes can work together to create something greater than any single sound. The council chamber filled with murmurs of harmonic resonance as Vexthor's words struck home. They had all seen the changes over the past year, how exposure to human music had awakened new possibilities within their crystalline forms, how their young had begun to experiment with resonant frequencies in ways that would have been considered chaotic just a year ago. Therefore, Vexthor announced, I propose that we formally dissolve the Crystalline Collective in its current form and establish something new, the Harmonic Confederation, a union based not on enforced unity, but on celebrated diversity, not on conquest, but on concert. The display showed one final scene, a recent performance where human and crystalline musicians had performed together. The humans sang with their voices while the crystalline beings resonated with their entire forms, creating music that could only exist through their collaboration. We went to Earth seeking to understand why humans sang in battle, Vexthor concluded. We learned instead why they sing at all. They sing to remember. They sing to connect. They sing to create bridges across the divisions of time, space, and consciousness itself. And now, They have taught us to sing as well. A deep resonance began to build in the chamber as one crystalline form after another began to vibrate in harmony. It was not the rigid, unified frequency of the old collective, but something new. A complex harmony of different tones and resonances, each individual contributing their unique voice to the greater whole. In orbit above Earth, human observers watched their instruments detect the massive harmonic resonance emanating from the crystalline homeworld. But unlike the last time they had detected alien signals, there was no fear. Instead, choir after choir began to sing in response, their voices carrying across space to blend with the crystalline harmony. The war that had never truly been a war was over. The invasion that had failed had succeeded in a way no one could have predicted. And in the space between stars, a new song was beginning, one that would take both species places they could never have reached alone. As the combined music of two species rippled across the galaxy, other civilizations began to take notice, some with curiosity, some with concern, some with hope. But that was a story for another day. For now, it was enough that where there had been discord, there was harmony. Where there had been division, there was concert. And in the great cosmic symphony, a new movement had begun.